Kate?
Bridge.
I want to make a bold statement.
Oh my god, I don't know if I'm ready. Just kidding, I'm ready. Tell me.
This might be my favorite movie of every single one we recorded.
Oh my god, what a bomb drop that was! I would have never.
Obsessed. I was obsessed.
My jaw, pardon the pun, is hanging to the ground. Wow. Wow.
I don't know if it's because I'm near a lake and I'm in water all the time.
Bridget, there's no
or
sharks
summer.
in the lake. I don't know how many times I can tell you this. Jesus Christmas. I can't.
Okay, I think this has to be one of the best movies ever made.
It's so good.
And it's from 1975.
Yup.
What?
I know.
Almost 50 years later?
Yeah.
Wow.
And Steven Spielberg, tell you what.
I'm just so ready to get into this.
All I want to say to the listeners, in addition to the beautiful confession that Bridget just gave, is I own the coolest Jaws-related t-shirt that I actually wore to Comic-Con in 2016, and I was offended that nobody said anything to me about it, because it's so cool. It's basically just a giant shark Jaws thing, and it says Amity Island, Quint's shark fishing, estimated 1975.
I think that means established.
Yes. Did I tell you I'm having sangria tonight? Okay.
Sisters who've seen it. We are the sisters who've seen it. Sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters, 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 sisters. Sisters who've seen it.
Hello.
Hello there.
How we doing, listeners?
Who's afraid to swim?
Dun 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 dun.
The epic John Williams bow.
Oh,
we bow. We bow.
We love him. We love him. Is it the most exciting music of John Williams to play in band class when you're Katie as a 15-year-old? No, but we don't care because it's a great time. Still a great time. Well, listeners, I'm going to jump right in and introduce ourselves. So we are the Sisters Who've Seen It, the podcast where two sisters who are not movie critics look back on some of our favorites throughout the years through a psychological, ethical, and familial lens. I'm Katie.
I'm Bridget.
And amity, as you know, means French. I don't know why, but I just really think that line is so funny. And I keep it in my back pocket sometimes. What can I say?
That's a good back pocket.
What can I say? And Bridge, what is our really awesome movie this week?
This epic 1975 classic Jaws.
Woo! And I need to make sure that I get this in because we often forget to shout this out in the beginning episode. This is a fan pick. So shout out to Daniel for sending us this beautiful angel face of a movie.
Daniel, brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you, Daniel.
Bridge, I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually I'm not surprised you think it's good. I knew you would think it's good, but I'm surprised that you are ranking it as one of the best or the best movie of our, at this point, will be 62 episodes.
Woo!
That is wild.
Yeah, it's because the longer we do this, I'm getting snobbier and snobbier on what we watch because you realize when there's these Bob scenes, you realize wasted time, dialogue that doesn't matter, M. Night Shyamalan. Ooh, burn! But when you see something that works so perfectly, I think I have more appreciation for it. So, I don't know. Maybe I really have to check myself and go back to the list, but this just checked all the boxes.
I think I said this in the last episode, but I really do love this movie, and I'm pretty sure at least once a year I watch it, and more so in the summer. It's because obviously it makes you think of summer, even though maybe it gives you a little trauma as well, but
totally.
I still swim in the ocean, man. I'll tell you. It's not going to deter me.
Kate, I think it's time for you to do a synopsis.
No! You want me to do it? Oh, no! gonna do it.
Oh no, you are up. Dun it, dun it. Dun-na, 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 dun-na.
All right, hold on. I need to pour more sangria then.
I'll add in fun facts because there's a zillion.
God. Yeah, there's my God, I can't wait. Oh my God.
In the 70s, okay, 2 things I want to talk to you about. You made a comment about the rating being PG. That is because it was going to get an R rating, and then it, took out a scene, and at the time, there was no PG-13.
Okay, well...
That's why I got PG. Okay, the other fun fact is, also in 1975, no one released movies in the summer, because that was, a dumping ground for garbage movies.
Yes.
Because most people in, winter and holiday, they're inside, they're going to the movies. When it's summer, they're out having fun. So this was the first summer blockbuster and completely changed the cultural tide to release movies in the summer.
So cool. I did know that fact. All right. I will try my best.
Take it away.
To be brief, I will not begin singing a sea shanty, #Quint style. I will restrain myself. Okay. All right. So we start off at a beach because this is about a shark. So we're at the beach, and the first thing you see is just kind of this group of I don't know how old we are, maybe college age. Who the heck knows? Bunch of kids just kind of hanging out and getting drunk and doing whatever. And it's late at night, and this guy starts to run off with this girl. And this girl, man, I'll tell you, I just feel like this girl just wanted a skinny dip, and I don't know why she needed a man to do that, but she did. So she real quick runs in naked into the water. She's alone because the guy's too drunk. And oh snap, y'all, this movie's about a killer shark. Guess what we see? Well, we actually don't see him right away, but we see the shark pretty much eat the girl. And she did. She gone. And that's a pretty, jarring scene. But that kicks off the plot. So then we meet the main character, who is Chief Brody. He's the police chief of the small island, Amity Island, as you know. You know. Okay. So, and he's not a local guy. I think the movie kind of gives you indication that this is a newish job for him and his
he came from New York.
Yeah, and this is the first summer that they're kind of living there, and he's working as the chief, whatever. So he right away gets the call, yo, is a girl missing? Let's go look for her because there's nothing else to do on this tiny island. Let's do it. They very quickly find her dead. And then, oh snap, now they're like, whoa, what killed this drunk girl? What are we doing? And at first he thinks it's a shark. So that kind of then leads him to be like, oh my God, there's a shark. We gotta close the beaches. There's a lot of pushback from the town and the mayor, who sucks. And listeners, if you watch this movie and you think back to pre-November when we had our election, and you think of how certain people in power were handling pandemics, you're gonna understand this mayor, because he's a little...
A what?
Okay.
But he's perfectly played.
Oh, yeah. He's so hateable. But pretty much what happens is it's about to be the 4th of July. And for this town, that's a huge money making. It's a beach town. They make a lot of money from tourists. Tourists are about to come. So then it turns into this whole thing where they're kind of like, we can't close the beaches. We got to make money. You know, we don't think it's a shark. It's fine. Just whatever. Do your police stuff. Fine. So then he kind of gives in. And then lo and behold, don't worry. Literally the next day or maybe even the same day, I don't know, someone else gets murdered. It's a little boy, and it's really graphic, and wow. Yeah, so then that turns into people being like, we're gonna go catch the shark, and then people think they catch a shark, but we're not sure, and all while this is happening, the police chief had already given a call out to get this guy from the Oceanographic Institute.
You got it.
Okay, his name is Matt Hooper, played by Richard Dreyfuss, and he basically comes to the island. He's like, hey, I'm the expert on sharks, and he sees the shark that kind of these townspeople catch, and he's like, I don't think this is a shark, and the police chief is like, all right, I trust you, let's cut it open. They cut it open, there's no little boy remains, which thank God, but also damn it, what a conflict. So these two guys are like,
what?
We think there's still a shark, but the mayor's not listening, we don't know what to do, and now, hey, 4th of July, now it's beach town party time, and there's lots of people, and whatever, and people are kind of fearful. They're like, we heard there's a shark, but we don't know. But then they go in the water anyway, and then there's kind of some pranks, and eventually this kind of all leads to there ends up being another shark attack. So again, to me, I'm like, wow, this is all taking place within like 3 days, like a week? I don't even know.
Like 60 hours.
Yeah, like the timeline is wild, and a guy then gets murdered, and that kind of then is the straw that breaks the camel's back. Chief Brody goes to the mayor, and he's like, we have to talk to this crazy fisherman Quint and get him to kill a shark because he kills sharks, and we just have to pay him, and you're gonna pony up, and we're gonna do it. And so really the whole back half of the movie, which is fun, is a little less like horror movie-esque and a little more like action adventure, because now it's Chief Brody, Hooper, and Quint, and it's the three of them on Quint's boat, and they're out in the ocean trying to basically hunt the shark, and they end up kind of luring him in. They get some barrels attached to him to keep him upright, but then they're like, wow, this shark's so smart, and blah, blah, blah. And, it's kind of Aukies, because Quint's like a little crazy and probably drunk the whole time. I don't know. But it leads to this big climax where the shark is basically like, I'm gonna sink your motherfucking boat. And Quint, Quint dies, so he's dead.
Yeah, sorry. Your face was just you went from like this shark's like, I'm gonna sink your boat. Quint died. Sorry, that was too quick of a
he's dead. I'm sorry.
Emotional shift.
But don't worry, listeners, because I know you're all fearful that Jaws made it out alive. He don't. He gets blown up. Chief Brody blows him up. It's really great. It's just a lot of fun. And again, like I really feel like the first half of the movie is, I think because it is like maybe a short timeline, or I don't know, like the pacing is just so good that like you're always on the edge of your seat whenever there's like water. Whenever they're near the ocean, you're like, oh, something's gonna happen. This is not good. And then when they get to the back half where they're on the boat, even though it's a little more like exciting and fun, and it's not like everyone's dying every 2 seconds, it's still kind of like you're on edge. So such a good movie. And when we get through it, I will tell you the scene that I think is the scariest scene. Like,
I kept thinking about that.
Oh, it's so scary.
Amazing synopsis.
Wow.
I'm gonna ask you though, because you read the book.
Oh yeah.
Now, I know obviously there's way more detail in books, and Kate, you're historically long-winded when it comes to your synopsis, but any big book to movie differences.
Okay.
And I thought I read the ending, right? The ending is a big... In the book ending, I believe the shark just bleeds out and slowly then like dies and sinks.
That makes sense.
In the movie, he blows him up like a movie.
He explodes with a $100,000 budget. Yeah.
Explodes.
Honestly, I read the book kind of a while ago at this point, and I remember it was a very quick read.
Okay.
For the most part, a lot of the storyline is somewhat similar. You've got the same characters. It's not like there's like a character they left out in the movie or whatever. But the one thing that I remember, because I remember being so appalled by this storyline in the book, is in the book, Hooper is supposed to be like a 24-year-old. And he's supposed to be like a little like bleach blonde surfer boy. He's like this young hot guy, and he has an affair with Mrs. Brody, the drummer.
What?
They have sexy time, and it's weird.
Ew, boo.
It's weird. I was like, thank God that wasn't in a movie, because what are we doing?
Oh, that's so lame.
I know, right? Ugh.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the only
bizarre.
That's the only thing I remember. I'm sure there were a lot of other differences.
It was the ending. When you read about it, the ending made the author like lose his mind on set, and they had to like physically carry him off set because he like fought it.
Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah. Kate, let's get into it.
Oh my God. Okay.
And I'm going to sprinkle fun facts throughout because there's a lot. However, most people probably know them since this is like a popular movie.
Yeah.
I have to make one retraction. I thought the shark from last week was made by Stan Winton. It was not.
Oh.
It was designed by Joe Alves.
Okay.
I'm saying that right. And constructed by Bob Mattei, who previously built the giant squid from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Wow. What do you know?
So I wish it was Stan Winston, but it wasn't. So okay.
I do love how this movie starts out because it does a good job of setting up kind of the atmosphere where you're just underwater and it's like, ooh, and then it's like the water is like dusty and then you hear the music and ooh, it's creepy. But then we see kids, drunk on a beach. So
Dazed and Confused style.
Dazed and Confused. I actually thought of the Karate Kid because I was like, yo, imagine if like these kids, it was like the same group of kids and then they're like, oh, what? Now we're dead by a shark.
Well, okay, and that freaking emo woman was like in the corner sitting next to some like trash can.
She's a weirdo.
I was like, wait.
Girl's a weirdo.
What? And he's like, Chrissy, where are you going? And I'm like, well, she was like awkwardly sitting away from everybody. Like something was going on. Like, what was happening?
Chrissy's tripping balls in the corner and this wants to go get naked. And again, my question is, I don't understand why she needed to wait for a man to do that. Who knows? Maybe if Chrissy was already skinny dipping, this wouldn't all happened, okay? I'm just saying.
Oh my god. The other thing that I thought was so bizarre is if I'm going skinny dipping, okay, I am not busting 30 feet out.
That's what I literally wrote that.
I'm jumping in and I'm like, woohoo, I'm wild in 3 feet from the shore and I'm coming back in.
She literally did like a mile swim. And
she was Michael Phelps out all the way.
Yeah. And then she's like yelling to him, like, are you coming in? I'm like, what? Sober or not, I would be like, I'm not swimming out there. That's a lot of exercise for this morning, so.
Well, and watching him, like, not be able to take off a sock without falling.
Yeah.
I was like, this is so painful.
Yeah.
Now, we know the movie, right? So we're like, this is not good. I was reading, what they did for that scene is they tied to her legs some sort of cable.
Yeah.
And they were basically pulling her underneath, but they didn't tell her, like, when or where they were going. So
it's scary.
She was so realistic. She was like, because she like didn't know where she was being like moved or jabbed, and then they were like pouring water on from above her, and oh my god.
There was like an urban myth too about that scene where it was like, oh, the actress like actually broke her hip and she's screaming in pain, but I don't think that's true. I think that was like made up, but like people like really thought that because of how good a job she did at screaming as if she was like in pain, but that's debunked.
Oh my god. Well, and did you read all about how this was like Steven Spielberg's worst produced film ever? Because it was set to take like 55 days.
Yeah.
And instead took like over 120.
Was it because of the shark? Because it was like not working?
Yes, it was because of weather and the shark.
Yeah.
It was also supposed to be like a $3 million budget, and it was like they ended up spending $8 million.
Well, there was a shark exploding, so I'm just saying. Are we surprised? Okay.
Part of the reaction to not showing the shark was because of malfunctioning.
Yeah.
So like Steven Spielberg was this young director thinking, this is going to ruin my entire career. And he somehow made that masterpiece at the end.
I love how you don't see the shark for a while. I think that like...
I love it.
It makes it creepier because like everyone knows it's a shark, obviously, but you don't know like how big it is or like what it looks like. And even this first scene where this girl dies, like you don't see any blood.
Nothing.
It's like so jarring. She just disappears, which like there would be blood. I'm just saying, but it's fine. And then right away we cut to our police chief, Chief Brody, and him and his wife are snoozing in bed, and they wake up and they're like, "Where are the children? The kids are outside. They're like 9 and like 4.
This is some signs.
We need to
Mel Gibson style parenting.
These kids are raising themselves. They are little Matildas. I am worried about them because what are we doing?
Rory Culkin, School of Children.
Yes, but you kind of get to see the family dynamic and you meet the kids and whatever.
Okay, this shows the difference between us because I write, oh my, short shorts. I always notice the outfit.
Honestly, this is a drinking game for our podcast. Listeners, take a sip every time Bridget points out something that someone's wearing because I am never fazed by it. It is so amazing. Oh my god.
If anyone in my life knows me, I get made fun of because I wear like the same 3 things every week. So I am like not a style person. I am like the worst. But it is such a error capsule. And seeing seeing these men wearing these short shorts is jarring.
And that was his, like, police uniform.
Oh my god. Okay, but to your point, this movie's amazing because every dialogue had a point. And they start off by being like, we moved. You're new.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they had to say,
right.
You don't know the culture because you're going to have a culture clash. So you're new. And they moved from New York, is what I believe. And they were trying to, like, make funny Boston accents.
Right.
Which I was like, that's probably how we sound when we try to make any accent.
Damn it! Oh, yeah. Yes.
Oh
and then you meet the kids, and I think he gets a phone call when he's at the house to be like, you gotta come, you know, there's someone missing, we gotta follow up, whatever. And that's what kind of prompts him to then very quickly leave.
Okay, and we have to talk about the Bob actor, which is this dude, the drunk dude.
Wait, which?
The drunk dude when he's like, so, Chief, like, I was out swimming and we were like, I think she drowned. And I was like, did this dude make a joke about her dying? Like, very casually? And and then when they see the body, which is gross and full of, like, crabs and sand and gross. I don't know if you paid attention. Like, if I was really good at editing, I would just take a zoom into him.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Because he just, like, kept looking at the clouds.
Yeah, he clearly was not told that he should look shocked, because you're right. He's, like, looking around like a ding-a-ling. Meanwhile, we have an arm sticking out of the sand, and it's gross, and we hate it.
It's gross. He makes it up once they get to the station. Then he looks, like, cold and very, like, startled, and you're like, okay, this is the reaction I needed on the beach.
Yeah, and the pacing of this movie is so good because you don't really linger long there. It's like, all right, now we're immediately back, and we're at the police station, and Chief Brody, he's already typing up the police report. This man is on his job, y'all. You want him on the force because he gets the paperwork done, okay?
Although, because it's 1975, I had some Shining Jack Nicholson vibes with that tight. I was like,
oh god. Okay, this scene though, you know, he types the thing and it's like probable cause of death. He types shark attack and you're like, wow, we knew it was a shark. We're not surprised. This next part, this for me, Steven Spielberg, I love you to death, but this was a Bob scene. When this secretary comes in and she literally does not stop talking for like 2 minutes and I lost patience within 5 seconds.
This was no Ferris Bueller secretary.
No,
okay?
No, not a righteous dude. No. She comes and she's got a weird voice. And this is actually like, apparently this is a Steven Spielberg trope, I guess, where he often will have characters in his movie talking over each other. And that does, if you really pay attention, that happens a lot in this movie, where you're going to have one character having one conversation and then another character right next to them is either trying to talk to them or having their own conversation. And that happens in a lot of his movies. But I feel like that was the only reason we had this goddamn secretary in this scene. She's going on and on about how they're karate students, which you know where I'm going with this, and they are karate chopping the picket fences. And I wrote, Mr. Miyagi, get your kids under control.
Hide your wife, get your kids.
Hide your children, hide your wives. Cobra Kai's chopping everything, okay? I don't know, like, I think just like her like talking nonstop is what made it Bob scene-y for me, and I was like, she could have just came in and then he told her the stuff and she was quiet and like fine.
See, she was annoying, but it didn't bother me that long. I was like, okay, moving on. And then he was like, we have to make some signs for the beach. He was on it. He was like, Michael's Arts and Craft, Joanne Fabrics, here I come.
Yeah, he really was. And then he's like, oh, Chief, there's Boy Scouts doing their miles swim. And I don't know why that was so funny to me, but I was just like, could you imagine? Like, if this was a sci-fi original movie, those Boy Scouts would have, like, been air-jaws and, like, murdered, like, during their mile swim. But luckily, we didn't have to see that, so. And this is where the mayor comes to him and goes down.
Here's the thing with this mayor, though. His arc was so, like, a modern-day politician, except when he admitted defeat at some point in the movie. So that, I think that made him so good. But okay, he's so smooth about like how he kind of diverts from still getting the money side of the beach and the people.
Well, and he not only brings himself, he has who I think is the maybe like a newspaper editor man, I think. And then he brings the coroner, and they're all old white men, number one. Number two, he quickly comes out and he's like, I heard in the last 5 minutes that you're about to close the beaches. And he's like, and that's not your authority. And then Chief Brody's like, well, I'm the chief of police. What do you mean? Like, I know I'm new, but like, why can't I do that? And they were like, no, you gotta like go through the council. And they start throwing all this like bullshit.
What?
And then he's like, okay, but like there's a shark. And then the coroner is like, well, maybe it was a boat. Yeah, that's it, a boat. And Brody's like, that's not what you said on the phone. And he was like, I was wrong. And I was like, what did you get paid? Like $2 to like change your mind? I'm confused about this.
But very sly, right?
Yes.
Like, it wasn't like he looked at the politician and was like, yeah, it's a boat. Like,
right.
They were all very conviction driven, and you're like, okay, I guess everyone's in on it. But again, this is one death, right? Like, Chief Brody isn't this medical expert. He's like, I mean, I think it's a shark, but like, I really can't be on my high horse. I don't know what the hell this was, you know?
And the mayor, he's basically like, we're a summer town and we need summer dollars. And then he says this thing about like, oh, if you yell Barracuda, everyone's like, what?
Yes.
Huh? And to me, I'm like, if someone yells Barracuda and I'm in there, I'm getting out because I know they got teeth and I gotta go.
I thought your psychologist brain would pop up because he was like, Chief Brody, it's all psychological.
Oh, yeah.
You yell Barracuda? You know what? Whatever. But you yell shark. We got a panic on our hands. And I was like, that is so politically smooth.
It
you
is
can't
smooth.
put out fake news, Chief Brody. And Chief Brody's like,
fake news.
okay.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I guess I'll go to the beach again. Oh, God. Which, by the way, where's like the head lifeguard? Like, is there like another, like...
No lifeguards. They don't exist. I don't know how the tweens make their money in this town because I only saw lifeguards after there were like 3 people dead. So I don't even know. But I love how the mayor brings up the psychological aspect because then what happens is everyone's kind of at the beach and it's the local people still. It's not the 4th of July yet. It's all the local people and Chief Brody's there and he's just kind of sitting on the beach. But Steven Spielberg films it in a way where, again, it's making you anxious. And you're feeling
so anxious.
Your feeling is anxiousness. And then part of you is like, okay, maybe it is a little like psychological. I'm overreacting. I'm like looking for things that aren't there. Or I'm like, I think I see something, but I don't. And honestly, like, I will forever and always still go in the ocean. But there have been some times where I feel like I'm looking out and I'm like, did I see something?
Oh, yeah. And Kate, to really freak you out, because I think this is for your own safety in the Jersey Shore.
All right, Bridget.
This story and book was inspired by the 1916 Jersey Shore right by you.
Was it Manasquan?
It was in Matawan. Long Beach Island, and then somewhere in between that.
Yeah.
And here was 2 things happening to get really creepy, okay? A heat wave. So in the 1916, a heat wave. You're in a heat wave. And then a polio epidemic. Kate, we're at a COVID one.
That's a big parallel. Okay.
Watch out for Brucey!
Well, I did swim in the ocean yesterday and I made it, so...
Okay, good.
Good for me.
But your point on the anxiety, the girl at one point screams, and then he, like, gets up, and it was the boyfriend, like, tickling her.
Don't get me started! That's not how we act when we swim, okay? Get it together. Oh my God.
And then how about the guy with the dark swim cap that was kind of like Conehead style? And Chief Brody, like, yells at him. He's like, I don't like your swim cap.
He goes, that's some bad hat, Harry. And then he leaves. And the old man's like, wah, rude. Oh my God.
But Kate, the dog.
Bridget, don't, Bridget.
It's true. It's part of the movie. Then the dog. Where's the dog?
The only thing I'm thankful for is that we didn't have to see that shown because I would have been really upset about it. But it's fine because we then see a little boy who, the kid's name is Alex, and he's maybe like, I don't know, like 11, 12, like whatever.
Yeah.
By himself, goes up to his mom, he's like, Mom, I want to go to the ocean. She's like, you've been in the ocean. But then he wants to get a raft. And listeners, this is where Katie's going to give you some anti-shark attack advice, okay, that I learned from this movie. Advice number 1, don't bring a blow-up toy in the ocean. I don't care what it is, all right, because you're going to look like a seal. That's number 1. Number 2, never, ever be the farthest one out away from shore.
Exactly.
If you are out, you look to your left, you look to your right, you say, okay, who's near me? Am I farther out than everyone? Because if you're farther out, you're closer to lunch. I'll tell you that right now. Okay. And I mean, that's how you prevent getting eaten. So So just do those things. But this kid did not do those things. He went against both of those things. And he's laying on this bright yellow raft by himself, looking like a seal, looking like a snack, if you will, from under the water. And the shark gets him. And again, you don't see the shark, like, full on, but you do see, like, I guess it's like a fin, like one of his, like, fins, and he kind of flips over, and you see blood just, like, exploding. And people on the beach are like, wow, did you see that?
What was that? What was that?
I would have been freaking the out if I witnessed anything like that, because holy it was so scary. But they have the best scene where they do, and there's a name for it, this type of shot where Chief Brody, he's sitting on the beach and they do that to him.
Yes,
and
that's the depth shot. Yes.
Oh my god, and his reaction, he doesn't scream, he's not even horrified, he just like, he goes like wide-eyed and he's like frozen. And then everyone starts to realize like what's happening, and it's chaos and it's so scary, and now there's blood, y'all, because we haven't seen any blood since, but Steven Spielberg got some blood money, so now we got blood up in this movie. And it's all up in here.
And then everyone gets out, and then you just see the mom
all my
alone,
god, so
screaming
sad.
Screaming Alex.
Oh my god.
And like kind of thinking like, not my kid, you know, and
oh my god.
My god. And this town was like, okay, let's get that freaking shark.
Oh yeah.
They were like, everybody was like on board, like, this is messed up, a kid is dead.
Yeah.
Some other girl died. Like, we are getting this shark. And like, it was like madness after that.
Well, and it's also got very subtly throughout the movie, there was this kind of hint of like, things are gonna get done if there's money. So who's paying up? So the mom of this kid, she is like, I'm gonna pay, I think it was like $3,000.
Yes.
She's like, I will pay $3,000 for anyone to bring me that shark, like dead, like bring it back. So this turns into like, and this is exactly how I would envision this type of situation. Even in 2021, this is exactly how it would go down. You get a bunch of yokel locals, some hillbilly hoo-has, getting on little dinghies, and they're driving out on the water trying to get a shark, and it's like mass chaos.
And they're just dumping blood and chum everywhere. I'm like, oh, how? What?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, and you know what? Actually, before they even do the whole, all those people go out, there's like a very brief scene where it's a town council meeting, and there's random townspeople who all they care about is, are you going to close the beaches? Are we going to not make money? All this bullshit. What? And this is the first time you meet Quint, who I would like to invite Quint to any annoying meeting that I have to be in, because he does a great job of derailing our conversation and getting it to end quicker, and he nails the chalkboard, screeches.
There's has to be a Zoom feature for that. Where is the Zoom video button that I could stop a meeting with?
Honestly, like, it was amazing. And then he kind of starts this monologue, and this is the first time you meet him, and you pretty much learn, like, he's a fisherman, but he specializes in fishing sharks. And he was like, I will catch this shark. And not only will I catch this shark, but I will kill it. But you gotta pay me more money. Easy breezy. You don't gotta worry. And then the mayor is like, anyway, thanks, Quint. Bye. And then
we'll
Quint
let you
leaves.
know.
Yeah, and then Quint's like, okay, bye.
Which is a really interesting introduction, because it's so quick you forget about Quint.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when the mayor pulls another mayor move.
Oh,
where
he does.
Chief Brody is like, finally speaks, and he's like, the beaches will be closed. And then the mayor slides in and he goes, but only for 24 hours. And he's like, we didn't talk about that. And I'm like, oh my god, he was so good at playing that role.
Yeah.
I kept thinking to myself, so 24 hours they gotta kill a shark? Like, how is this possible?
Yeah, it's wild. And we meet Hooper.
I'm Matt Hooper here from the Ocean Institute. I need to see the remains of your first victim. I was like, whoa.
He's such a tiny little man, too. It's so funny. I'm like, oh my god.
Brilliant introduction to him, because when all the fishermen are getting on their dinghies being ridiculous,
my god.
Chief Brody is like, I need backup. These people are going to go kill themselves. And Richard Dreyfuss gets off the boat and he's like, tell those men they can't be on that boat. Do this, do that. And so you see Richard Dreyfuss like attempt to like stop people, and he's like, hey, you're gonna die, and then they don't do anything, and he's like, okay, and he just moves on. So you get this like little bit of I'm smart but like weak, which is a great contrast for Quint. And when they're on the boat, it's like the masculine fighting, right? But I feel like Dad would be proud, but I did get some Lake Placid vibes.
Oh, people don't forget, like, plants. Episode 16, listeners. Hit it up.
You need to bring in the expert because it always gives the audience something interesting to learn. They have the different perspective. They're the one that you can go to, and we need to listen to experts. Am I right?
We do. There's a reason experts exist. 100% agree. And he very quickly is like, these guys are dumb. What's happening? And, you know, some group of these hoo-has catch a shark.
Yeah, it's a big one. Yeah. It's a pretty big shark.
It's decent size. Somehow they catch it. I don't know how, because literally all the boats I saw were so small to the point where
a what?
This nonsense looks like Trump's stupid boat rally. And I hate it. Yeah, so they get a giant shark on their boat and they have it strung up. They're like, oh, we got the shark. This is definitely it, because it's a shark. And guess there's only one shark in the ocean.
But it was big. I mean, that's the thing.
It was
this big shark, and everyone wanted to believe that they venged the kid's death. Like, even Chief Brody was like, you know what? I think you guys were super dangerous on your little dinky boats, but just great work. Like, I'm really happy. And then Richard Dreyfuss comes in. He's like, it could be. He's like, he wasn't so negative. He's like,
that's true.
It could be. Statistically, it's probably not. Let me cut into him. And once again, the mayor comes in, super sly. And the mayor makes a great point. He goes, listen, I'm not going to have you cut open the stomach and have a dead little boy come out of this stomach. And you're thinking to yourself, well, that actually is a very good point. Because if it is the shark, because his mother shows up.
She rolls up in her biggest, Jackie Kennedy.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Beetlejuice. All the funeral garb were there. Yeah. It was very drama. Yeah.
Oh, and she gives an epic right across the face to Chief Brody.
That scene, like, it doesn't make me mad. It makes me, like, kind of sad, because I'm like,
so sad.
Everyone knows, like, how unfair it is that she's blaming him. But it's still, like, you feel for her. This is the only part that I actually feel like the mayor is somewhat of a decent human, because he does turn to Brody when she leaves, and he goes, I'm sorry, she's wrong.
Yes.
But then Brody is like, no, she's right. Wah! And then he runs home crying. Just kidding. He doesn't do that. But he does.
He takes those short shorts and he's like, oh, I'm out of here.
He does a beach run home. No, then he is home and now he is getting drunk.
Ooh. And he's pouring that wine. And Richard Dreyfuss rolls up and brings some more wine to pour.
That's what I wrote. I go, yo. Richard Dreyfuss can come visit me any day, because you're going to bring 2 bottles of wine? Let's go. I'm ready
That
for
should be a new rule. We should just roll up to anyone's house with always 2 bottles of wine.
Always 2 bottles, because you never know when you're going to need to get drunk and then sneak into where they're keeping a dead shark, which I had questions about rewatching, and cut it open late at night with no one watching. Yeah.
When they cut that shark open, I felt like I could smell the stench from their reactions.
Yes.
And it was so hard not to want to gag.
Yeah. But he basically is like, yup, there's no body parts up in here.
Kate, what shark facts did you learn right around this scene? Because I learned something that freaked me out so hardcore.
I know exactly what it is, because this line always gets me to the point where I keep telling myself, like, I should look this up to either ease my worries or fuel them, because Brody turns to Hooper before they go cut the shark. Brody turns to Hooper as he's kind of drunk, and he goes, is it true that most shark attacks take place in 3 feet of water about 10 feet from the beach? And Hooper very seriously nods, and he's like, yes. And, it's so scary. But honestly, like, 1975, I don't know if that's still true, because I think I am consistently swimming in 3 feet of water, minimum 10 feet from the beach, and nobody's giving me a little bite, so I don't know.
Okay.
But it is very scary, and, like, we then lead to, they cut the shark open, it's not the shark. Hooper is now like, I got a great drunk idea. We're gonna go on my boat, and we're gonna go out in the dark, and we're gonna find it, something. So, okay, Hooper's on his fancy boat.
With all his fancy equipment, so we start to learn his backstory.
Yeah, and Brody's like, well, damn, where's this boat from? And he's like, it's my boat. And he's like, your boat? He's like, yeah, I'm rich. And, like, that's it. That's all the explanation.
So it's so good that you're like, okay, he's really into it. He invests his own money, and we start to see, like, all his cool gadgets, but we also start to see his bravery. Because we see the boat from Ben Gardner. That's what it is. Ben Gardner's boat is, like, basically sunk, messed up.
Yeah.
And to me, I would take that flashlight and say, let's poke around from the boat. I would just literally say, oh, is there anything in there? Can you take your camera and zoom in?
Yep.
No, he puts on scuba gear and jumps into the scariest water of all time.
He doesn't even bring a weapon, listeners. He just has a stupid flashlight. No.
So scary.
So scary. And this is where we get a very iconic scene I think, and it does, it still gets you, you know, because there's, like, good music timing, but he's looking and he finds a shark tooth, and it's a big shark tooth. It's kind of
shark tooth
wedged within this, like, hole underneath the boat. And you're like, wow, why would there be a giant hole under the boat? So weird. So he grabs the tooth, he's looking at the tooth, and you can see the hole in the frame, and then all of a sudden, dead guy's head, we got a dead guy's head, Dodson, we got Dodson over here. Yep. And it's scary. And, you know, Hooper drops the tooth, and then he's like, I'm gonna get the out of the water! Damn!
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, so, really gets us going. However, after this, it's the big clash because, what do you mean? We caught the shark, the beach are open. No, the beach is not open. Ben, well, I mean, are you sure it was a shark? Show me the tooth. Oh, I don't have the tooth. Oh, the July 4th is, and you're just thinking to yourself, oh my god, and that's what made the story so brilliant that they, like, think they caught the shark.
Yeah.
Because they didn't see them rip the stomach open, because that was kind of a sneaky thing to do, and oh my god, but this is so good. It is the most packed beach you've ever seen.
It's so scary. But we see a scene of reporters on the beach, and fun fact, Bridge, that one reporter, the man, that is actually the author of the book. That's Peter Benchley.
Oh, cool!
Yeah, he gets a little cameo in there.
I love that.
But it's a packed beach, but no one's swimming?
Yes, so everyone's kind of like, we are nervous until the mayor goes up to some poor old dude.
Oh, I literally, when I go, this poor guy's getting peer pressured hard, I'll tell you that. Oh, man.
And then him and Grandma hold their grandchildren's hand as they walk to their death to go have fun in the ocean. I was like, oh, God.
And not only that, but they did not follow Katie's advice to avoid shark biting, and they brought a raft out with them. Guys, learn from our mistakes. Someone literally got eaten on that.
But again, another psychological social behavior is, okay, no one's going in, I'm not going in. Okay, one person goes in, now I'm gonna go in. This is like a dance floor thing at a wedding, okay?
Yeah.
If nobody is dancing in a wedding, one brave soul has to go out, and then the whole crowd goes.
So they go in, and like you said, everybody then is like, yeah, we're in it to win it. Fear is nothing now. And now there's a lot of people. But the police force, I guess, they kind of got some, like, backup. So when all these people came to the island as tourists, now they also have some extra police force, and they're using them to be on boats and kind of make a little perimeter. So they're just on the lookout, and now there are actual lifeguards. Cool.
Yeah.
But we get some suspense because Brody's son, Michael, him and his 9-year-old friends are about to take a boat out in the water, and Brody's like, no.
He's like, please, please.
No.
Just go in the bay, right? It's like the bay that's into the ocean. He's like, just go in the bay. He's like, oh, but the old ladies are in the bay. And
Which,
he's like,
no one's in the bay, first of all, Michael, so watch your mouth. There's nothing wrong with the bay. It's still salt water. Watch your mouth. I don't want to hear it.
so he does, and he's like, okay, phew, my son is safe. All of a sudden, we see a fin. And it becomes Black Friday, where people are trampling over kids. Grandparents are getting trampled. Everyone's getting knocked out. It's jingle all the way.
Turbo time out there in that ocean because damn, we're not gonna make it. Yo.
So everyone's just like, ah! And in a very, like, America way, it's obviously the prank. Those two little kids pranking.
Honestly, like, what a commitment. I don't know any 8-year-old children that have that much commitment in their little bodies, because these kids, like, made the fake fin. They got snorkels. They came from... I don't know where they came from, but they came from, like, out in the ocean and then, like, went in, and it was a long time we were going up with this prank. So, like, what?
And how are those kids not afraid themselves to be eaten?
Exactly, Dr. Phil, exactly.
But as they literally, like, reveal themselves, America style, there's, like, 50 guns in their face. And the kids are like, and the kid is so funny. He points to the other one and he goes, he made me do it.
So, oh my God. Such a kid reaction. And then they're all like, false alarm. Everything's great. But everything isn't great, listeners, because dun-dun-dun, in the pond for old ladies where there's no old ladies, we got a shark coming in. And some girl who is like, I don't know what, she's just painting by herself.
She was trying so hard. She's like, not a joke, Mayday, not a joke.
Yeah, no.
Ay, ay, ay.
And as per usual, America ignored the woman who was voicing concerns. And they're all like, whatever. But Brody, the only reason he starts to kind of go towards that area, because he's like, oh my God, my son's over there. Let me check it out. And this, Bridget, is, in my opinion, the scariest scene of this movie.
Okay. Tell me why.
Let me set the scene. So we've got like 5 or 6, 9-year-old boys. I don't know how we made it out on a boat, because I work with 9-year-old boys and some of them can't even butter bread. But here we are. We're out on a boat. They figured it out. They are out there sitting on the boat by themselves. And then some man by himself is rowing up to them on a rowboat. And he's like, hey, kids, how you doing? Whatever. And the shark is like, I'm gonna eat you. He knocks over the guy in the rowboat. And then he very quickly knocks over I guess it's like a sailboat.
It's like a little dinghy.
It's like a little dinghy. I don't know. It's something that the kids are on. The boat that the kids are on, they get knocked over. They fall in the water. The kids are in the water. They're treading water. You see, this is the scariest scene right here. You see the man who was in the dinghy. His boat's flipped over. It's like off to the side. He is swimming and he's going towards their boat, which is now flipped over. He's going towards their boat and it's like real time. He's like swimming and he goes to reach on the boat, and all while this is happening, you see through the water the shark, and its jaws are open, and it's not going fast. It's not going stupidly slow. It's literally going so leisurely, as if to be like, I don't have to move quick because I'm about to kill you. And it's so big, and it just grabs him and he gets ripped under. And every single time I see this scene, I get goosebumps.
Oh, I'm gonna watch it different now that you just described it that way. I thought you were gonna say when the shark is coming at the kid and just misses the kid.
No, I don't care about that. The scariest scene is watching how casually it's like, I am going to kill you. And it does.
Oh,
I
want to rewatch that moment right now. Wow, Katie. Just, you get an award for just describing that the way it was. Okay, so then his kid is in shock. He gets sent to the hospital, and then to your point, back to money, Chief Brody's like, pony up, Mayor, because we're hiring Quint, and we're gonna kill that mofo shark.
He's like, it's time to move past all this horror movie, filming, and we gotta get to the thriller part, because John Williams has some exciting music he needs to play, and we haven't heard any of that yet, so let's do it. Whee!
And Robert Shaw is dying to act, and he had one chalkboard scene, and it's his moment. Oh me,
Yes.
oh my, and then we get a bottle of rum and a ho 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 and lots of singing when Robert Shaw comes.
Wow, I would have killed to see Robert Shaw wearing an eye patch. I think I wouldn't have asked any questions, honestly. It would have been great.
Oh my god.
It's just such a good setup because Chief Brody is kind of like, well, I don't know what I'm doing and I hate the water and sharks are scary, but I guess I'll go out because I'm the chief of police and here we go. And then he's like, Hooper, you'll come too. And Quint is soups mean to Hooper. He's like, you're a little...
A what?
You got city hands.
You little rich guy.
You're a little rich guy. And Hooper's like, I can tie a knot. Dang. And then whatever. So it's an interesting setup. And then you also see Mrs. Brody. She kind of comes to say bye. And meanwhile, Quint begins his first sea shanty of the movie where he sings about someone who was a young lady who lost her virginity. And we hate to hear it. And and Mrs. Brody appropriately sprints away from this.
But in real life, okay, Robert Shaw, who played Quint, and Richard Dreyfuss did hate each other.
You know, it shows on screen, so nothing about that surprises me.
Robert Shaw is a big drunk and was drunk for a lot of the movie, which I now understand because he had to wait all the way to the end thinking he was going to be, day 20, he was day 70. So he probably was just drinking away.
Oh, no.
But they're really good at this, passive battle on who's worthy of, the manliness and who knows how to get a shark better because you're scientifically trained. It's very much like this blue-collar, white-collar vibe.
Right.
It came a lot from Quint on being more judgy, which I found to be better than Hooper, who, was the, in theory, uppity one, where he really wasn't. He's like, what is your problem?
Right. It's funny to me, too, because I'm like, guys, if you're going to pick on anyone, pick on Chief Brody, because he doesn't know what the fuck is going on.
Chief Brody doesn't even like to swim! What is he doing here?
I don't think he can swim, and all he's doing is he's tasked to chum the water, but this is where we get, again, a very iconic scene of, honestly, the first, out of water, I guess you could say, look of this mechanical shark, and he comes up out of the water, and you see, the size of him, and, he doesn't attack the boat, he just kind of, comes up, breaches, and then he goes back under, and you get the very iconic line, Bridge. Do you know the iconic line?
I think we're gonna need a bigger boat.
Well, he says, this is very specific, he goes, you're gonna need a bigger boat.
Ooh.
And people mess that up a lot. They do say, I think we need a bigger boat, or we need a bigger boat, but it's you're gonna need a bigger boat. So, listeners, remember that for trivia, okay? Okay.
Do you know that he also ad-libbed that?
Oh, that's awesome.
I didn't
in the
know
script. That. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool.
That's the bonus point round.
I love that.
Katie, from 1975, this still looked like a modern-day shark.
Yeah, it really did.
How?
It really
Amazing.
did. The only time it faltered a little is when basically the shark body slams the boat at the very end. But besides that, I think it works well.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, I do feel like this part of the movie is very tailored towards being more of adventure, excitement. And okay, John Williams, I love you forever, always and forever. But the music in these scenes, sometimes I was like, it's a little much, sir. It was
it was the ceremonious music. Yeah. the Goonies music.
Oh my god.
I'm like, wait, I still have 30 minutes left of this movie. This isn't the end.
I was like, this is not a Western. Oh no, what are we doing? But, it was meant to kind of show the excitement of trying to catch a shark. But they get one, maybe even 2 barrels in them. I'm not even sure.
Well, they had one for a while.
Right.
And basically the shark realized how to chew the line at some point. So then they had to like shoot him again.
Yeah.
And this happens over the course of like 20-25 minutes of the movie.
Right.
But they eventually get 2 barrels, which is so cool because the whole like Alfred Hitchcock way of not showing the shark.
Oh my god.
The barrel was such an important prop because you weren't scared of a barrel, but I was definitely scared of a barrel coming towards the boat.
Yeah, exactly. I was scared of the movement of it. I'd be like, okay, it's like, now it's starting to circle, or the barrel would start to come towards the boat, and you're like, what am I gonna do? Oh my god!
Woo! And I want to talk about their story and the scars and the USS Indianapolis. So that's such a brilliant story to put in, because Quint does start to lose his mind.
Yes.
And that type of trauma explains he's not just some drunk, he's not just some fisherman that wants more money and's got, like, you know, some chip on his shoulder with Hooper. He has literally been traumatized.
Yeah.
And I am a little annoyed because I don't think it needed this too much, but you get it. When Chief Brody tries to call in for backup, he breaks the radio with a bat.
Too much!
And then when they're like, okay, go forward, move, and he floors the motor, they're like, you're gonna burn it, and he literally just burns it.
He does.
So he loses his mind, but this story, like, after they're showing scar after scar, gets you there, and you're like, well, I mean, if you saw, like, 800 people slowly die from shark attacks, like, yeah, man, I think I'd smash a radio too. You know, like,
we do get pulled out of that very quickly. That whole kind of, like, dark monologue of all my friends died in front of my eyes and I have PTSD, because a whale starts singing and you're like, wow, beautiful. Oh my god, what a great day. And then they drunkenly all start to sing, show me the way to go home. I'm tired and I wanna go home. Yeah. And you're like, wow, what a fun moment. But Steven Spielberg's like, what? That? You're not gonna see that for more than 5 seconds. And the shark at that moment is then like, shut the f up. I'm gonna ram my face into your boat. And it starts to break the boat.
It's like the upstairs neighbor with the broom. It's like, get out of here!
That is literally Bruce the Shark. Bruce the Shark is like, I hate your singing. The whale was beautiful. You ruined it. You're all drunk and you're annoying. Let me mess this up. And he starts ramming the boat, but he doesn't sink the boat yet. It's kind of like, it turns into this like, oh, we're in trouble, but then they're like, just kidding. Now we're okay. I don't know how the boat's not sinking. No one knows. Whatever. It's fine. But this is where then the next morning Quint destroys the radio, because Brody's like, this is nuts. I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, he's like, I'm out of here.
Quint's like, absolutely not. We're in it to win it. Let's do it. And the shark is basically just kind of like circling them.
Which never gets boring, because it's always done in an interesting way. They're always having to like up their game on figuring it out. And so basically the engine blows up and you're like, good God, this is not good.
Yeah.
I wrote I'd kill Quint at this point.
I would have tossed him in the water, honestly, because I think I would have felt safer without him standing near me.
I'd be like, you're gonna shoot us all at this point and just like let the shark eat you. But this is also when they get the idea of the only thing I can think of, because we're going down at this point, is all that we have are guns and whatever, and it's not working. We've been shooting at this shark forever.
Right.
So I have this like special poison that if I get close enough, I could get into the shark. And he says, I have this cage. What do we got to lose? Because we're going down.
Down, yelling timber.
Yeah. And all I kept thinking about is, no way in my life would I ever, if I'm on a tourist vacation, am I ever getting in a shark cage, ever? And you know me, Kate, I'm like a risk taker.
Yes, you are.
No frickin' way.
Yeah.
No way in my life. And he just jumps right on in there, and this is some Jurassic Park T-Rex
I wrote
in
that.
the face.
I wrote this scene is so Jurassic Park, because it really is.
God.
Like, I mean, he sees the shark comes up and it rams the cage, and I think it dents the cage right away.
It breaks the cage.
Right, and that's where it was Jurassic Parky, because you're like, the only thing saving him is like these like stupid little metal bars that are like kind of in front of him, kind of like how the kids were holding up the window glass and the T-Rex was like about to eat them. It was wild. But Hooper, he drops, it looked to me like a spear.
Yeah.
And I guess there was the poison or whatever on the end of it.
Yeah.
He drops it real fast, y'all. And again, I'm kind of like,
I just kept saying he keeps dropping things.
Yeah.
You're dropping the tooth. You're dropping the medicine.
Yeah.
And that's when he did the next scariest thing, which is like he went to the bottom of the ocean and hid Katie.
It was very scary.
My God.
But, you know, this shark is not around because the shark is like, I'm sick of you mother snakes in my mother ocean. Get out of my space.
Oh my God. There needs to be a new Jaws with Samuel
Jackson as a shark. I know. Just imagine the possibilities. This shark literally air jawses and he body slams the boat. And this is where we're not messing around. He body slams the boat and now you're like, oh.
What? He's taking it down.
All this stuff is like falling towards its mouth. Its mouth is just constantly like
hungry hippo style.
Yeah, it really is. And then Brody and Quint are trying to grab onto stuff, but Quint, you know, he was just a little too drunk and
oh my
his
God.
sea legs didn't help him there, I'll tell you that. And he falls into the jaws.
Oh my God. It was so... I was like screaming at that point.
And then he gets pulled under and, well, pour one out for Quint, y'all. Quint's shark company is gone.
It was not estimated. It was now deceased.
It was not estimated. The estimations were incorrect. We can't do math on the ocean. Oh no. Oh no.
And then, honestly, because Chief Brody represented us all, we're thinking the least qualified person is left.
Yes.
As the boat sinks.
Sure is.
And he's got to save his life. And, you know, he's got his gun and, you know, okay, he's a police guy, so he's got his gun. And he thinks to himself about the oxygen tank. Kate, would you think about that?
I think it was very opportunistic because the shark, you know, it's got a murder boner, as I like to say. It was very hell-bent on destruction. And it slams through the cabin. It slams through the glass. Brody's in there. So now he's like, oh my God. And the first thing he grabs is a canister. I honestly don't think this was premeditated. I think he
he just grabs whatever and chucked it.
I think he grabbed whatever and he chucked it. However, I think he thought back to when Hooper made a big hoop-de-doo about don't let these canisters just roll around. It's compressed air. It could explode.
Yep. Yeah, which is great. Great little nugget in there.
But there was a part where, and I think it was way back earlier in the movie when he was looking through the shark book, there was very briefly, you saw an image of a shark and it had a canister in its jaws.
What?
I'm not even kidding. I noticed it.
Oh my God, I love this
noticed
movie.
it this time around. So it was like you saw a little bit of like foreshadowing and part of me was like, yo, you read a book and you learned.
And you applied it.
And you applied it.
You comprehended it.
Just like we tell the children, good for you. You're an adult man. Way to go. So it was a good ending.
Oh my God, he's literally perpendicular
yes.
to the water.
Yeah.
On his side, the shark's coming toward him, and know, and what was so cool is, and I would have done this, like he was talking out loud, he was like, come on,
yes.
come on, hit it, and I kept thinking, like, you could do it, man, you could do it. Right.
You're like bumping yourself
because you're dead.
up.
In your head, you're dead anyways. You're gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
Once you're in the water, you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, and it was just such a good ending when he blew up.
It was so good.
It was so good. Perfection. And then we just slowly see Hooper bubble to the surface as if no big deal, is just chilling down with the turtles. Like, what?
It's fine. We're just gonna sit underwater. He probably watched Quint be murdered, and then he comes up and he's like, Quint. And I'm like, what? You saw that. Don't even. I don't want to hear it.
Okay, and then they, like, realize we gotta go home because we don't have a boat, and they kickboard style kick back to the beach, and all I kept thinking, Kate, is I'm gonna die. If I had to then take 2 barrels and kick back, I'm thinking we're dead. And also I'd be on top of those barrels trying to never touch the water ever again.
Yeah, definitely Titanic style, because my mind went there too. I was like, there's blood everywhere. This is about to be a feeding frenzy, y'all. I've seen Shark Week. You can't fool me.
Oh, no way. Just kicking home.
I don't know how else it could have ended.
I think it could have had a longer ending. Like, I think Goonies does it well. Like, we could have seen him pick it up from the beach.
With Domino's Pizza, yes.
The wife has Domino's.
Adopting random old men, yes. Rubies, yes.
Oh my god. Steven Spielberg, I bow to you.
It is so good, and it just does such a good job of showing what some up situation could be, and how we could very easily fix this if we just, listen to science, if you will, and we don't, because we're America and we're assholes, so. Lesson learned.
Woo! We got into that, Kate. We got into that.
Yes. And Bridge, I went and I got a dad quote.
Yes!
So I just sent it to you.
Okay, I'm about to play it in 3, 2, 1.
All right, Dad. So our movie this week is Jaws. Dun-dun.
Ooh.
Dun-dun-dun.
Let me see. Wait a minute. You might need a bigger screen there. Hold on. I liked that movie. It was good.
Does it make you not want to swim in the ocean or no?
Oh, absolutely. I don't want to swim in the ocean when I see stingrays.
Oh, no.
Right, Bridget?
Oh, too soon.
The jabs.
He's like, right, get out of here. Brilliant. He's so quick, isn't he? He's so witty.
He's so witty, and honestly, his response did not surprise me, because I don't think I've seen that man at a beach since our little sister Mary was like 2 or 3 years old. Only in the pool. That man did not go in the ocean.
Never.
So,
never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows if he would have loved Lake Placid without Jaws. Just saying.
Well, that's an interesting take.
Sorry to get serious, listeners. I had a lot of sangria up till this point, so it's been a while.
It's been a long
We've been recording for a while, and my editing is going to hurt me, but it's fine. It's all great. I love you.
Okay, Kate, well, it's my turn to pick a movie.
Woo!
And I don't know what movie can follow this, because obviously this was like my fave.
Yeah.
And this is a listener pick.
Woo!
This is from Joe.
Joe!
Thank
you.
Joe, I love you. We don't really know you, but we love that you listen.
Oh, Joe.
And he said very nice things about us. And this is, I'm going to look up the actual way that the movie is described.
Yeah.
But it's from 1984, Kate.
Woo!
1984. Oh, here we go. Okay.
80s.
It's a fantasy film.
Whatever it is, I probably enjoy it already, so.
You are gonna like it.
Oh boy.
And this, I think, was very childhood iconic. This was a movie that I named my stuffed animal after. This was a movie that we all cried when the horse died. This is the one, the only, the never-ending
Never-ending story! Do you remember when you were visiting last summer and we got drunk and we sang that song a lot? Because I do. People don't forget, okay?
You straight up look like you're about to cry. Joe, you made her tear up.
Joe! Oh my god. Oh, Bridget. Oh no.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
It's so good, and I have a very distinct memory of watching this movie. I remember watching the scene where Artek, who is the shark, I mean, not the shark. Oh, God, he's the horse. Oh, no. I'm still in Jaws
Too much
mode.
sangria.
Oh, no. Sangria and sharks. He is the horse. Artek is the horse. And he gets stuck in the swamp of sadness. And we all experience pain for the first time in our little millennial lives. Because, damn, that was a sad day. And, oh, man. I couldn't handle it. I think the last time I watched this movie fully, I was in college. Again, probably drunk on sangria with my best friend Julie. Shout out Julie. Her and I watched it and we cried because it's like, wow.
So there you go, Kate.
Woo!
And Kate,
Bridge.
I just want to let you know,
Yeah.
if you happen to be visiting Amity in the summer
Oh, no.
of 1975,
Oh, no.
and you have your yellow floaty, and your fingers are pruny,
Oh,
and you're
no.
saying, Bridge, I want to go in the water for one more swim.
No.
I'm going to take a knife, and I'm going to rip that floaty in half and stab it and say, no, I just saved your life.
Wow, could have just taken it off, but alright, I like the passion in that. Okay. Well, and, Bridge,
Yeah.
I just gotta say, if we were stuck on a boat with
You're
Quint...
getting closer and closer to the camera. It's too funny, stop.
I am
Oh my
versus
God.
the shark right now. If we were stuck on a boat with Quint,
Oh my God.
and he was drunk, and he broke the radio, I would probably push him overboard. And then drive away so that we were alive. Because
Cool.
What
Okay.
are we doing? Yep.
Okay.
That's how much I love you.
Wow, Kate. That's love.
Yeah. And listeners, if you also love being alive and going to the beach without fear in your hearts, and you don't enjoy being murdered,
Oh, yes.
yeah, you should write us a review.
Hey!
We love reviews. We love written reviews. You can review us on Apple Podcasts as well as some other podcasting apps. We also have a website, sisterswho'seenit.com. If you scroll down on our main page, there is a form you can fill out to request a movie. And so just like this movie Jaws, this was requested by a fan of ours, Daniel.
Oh my God, Daniel, you're the best.
Daniel.
Thank you.
We don't know your last name, so we will continue to call you Daniel's son. And Daniel's son, thank you so much for your request. And listeners, if you would like to be like Daniel's son, or perhaps if you would like to be like Joe and request a movie, well, you can do that, all right? You can go on our website. And Bridge, what else can they do on our website?
They can buy a shark meat. I mean,
Wow.
coffee.
Yeah.
You can buy us coffee so we can get so we can get. You're gonna make me pee. Stop. Oh my God.
Listeners, if you buy us coffee, we will invest that money into a boat. And if we invest it into a boat, we can go catch Jaws. And if we catch Jaws, we will prevent the sequels. So think about that on your free time.
Well, listeners, we gotta go. I just peed my pants.
Okay. All right. Well, listeners, do all of that. Check all that out. We love to hear from you guys. It means a lot. So, all right. Well, we'll see you next week for the never-ending story. Y'all brush up on your Stranger Things season 3 because they sing that song in there. Okay.
All right. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
I love you. Bye-bye.
I love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Don't get eaten by a shark in the lake, even though there's no sharks in the lake. Bye-bye. Okay, bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Sisters Who've Seen It. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out our website at sisterswho'seenit.com, where you can email us, request movies to be reviewed, and keep up to date with all things Sisters. Also, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. See you next week.